This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and get started, then call to order. We are ordered. I'll wait to talk about, I did meet with Ava at the Conservation Commission. It was a great conversation. So I'll talk about that at the end. And we'll go, and also at the end, we'll talk about election of like keeping who's going to do finance, chair, and secretary. And yeah, then those are the main like weird things to look forward to. And then otherwise just our usual committee updates. Did anyone have anything they wanted to add or were wanting to bring up right away? No? Cool. All right. So I would love to look last month's minutes. Love to have a sort of motion to accept those minutes. Does anyone second that?
I do.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, that is so moved. Awesome. And so let's move on to treasurer stuff.
Okay, no changes this month. The report is the same as last month. We're in good shape. The only anticipated bill I have now is probably the one from Broadbrook when they shut off the water. So that will probably arrive in November or December. And it will be paid as soon as it gets here. I'm expecting that it could be as much as $250, but we'll have to wait and see.
Ted, does that vary from year to year what they charge, or is it a flat fee? How does it work?
I'm trying to remember what it was before last year, but I think it had been 100, and it was charged twice, and then this might be one billing. So I built in what we paid the previous year, and I think that had gone up about $50. So okay. I'm anticipating maybe as much as a $25 or $50 increase this year because things were just going up. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think it should be within the range of, let's see, what was it? $250, I think, for irrigation. Irrigation services. Last year it was $150.
250 is.
I put in $250. Because in the previous year they've been, I think, $100. So just in case, to make sure we're covered on that.
Oh, great. Margie's here.
Is there a way for them to tell us in advance, at the beginning of our garden year, what they're going to charge, or does that, so we can budget, accordingly?
Yeah.
I think it's, no, I don't think you can do that, but, all we can do is make our usual projections and the possible increase. We'll have to see.
You mean they won't tell us if we ask them? Or they don't know?
Well, who knows what they know or what they have to fix or what they have to do. I don't know what goes into it. I would be surprised if they could tell you exactly what they're going to charge, a year in advance.
Yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of places that can tell you what they're going to charge a year in advance.
It would, some people have contracts, they have contracts with people, but maybe at some point we can have just a conversation and just clarify that. Is that something that you have a rough idea for a given calendar year, or is it vary? And if so, just so that we know, I think to ask them that is legitimate because you want to be able to budget enough to cover it, right?
Yeah, I think we're covered.
Well,
Based
I'll
on
have
So we
what,
don't,
based on what I've
we don't have
seen
to
them
get,
charged in the past, we're budgeted higher than we've ever paid, just
yeah.
to make sure that we're covered. I
Okay.
would be
All right.
very
Well, that's,
surprised.
I'll have Steven maybe when he calls in the spring. Seems like he mostly leaves a message with them, but he ends up talking to someone on the phone. Maybe see if he could, they're like, what their best guess is and see if it's like relative, you know. If they're like,
yeah,
oh,
that's
it's gonna
only,
go up this year, we don't know how much or something.
yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
It just seems like poor business practice that they can't tell you something, but what do I know?
Well, we'll
Anyway,
see. We can see.
yeah, okay.
Was there, Karen, did you have anything budget wise for the pollinator garden? I can't remember. That Oh, you're muted, sorry.
We're going to want to buy dirt like we did for the first 3, and we're
Okay.
going to want compost. If we order compost again, we're going to order compost for the pollinator garden.
Cool. So
Mhm.
that'll just be part of maybe next year's planned budget is another
Right.
little. Okay.
Right.
Great.
So I mean, as long as those prices stay the same, then we can figure out what we're going to need for that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think probably it's a good idea to come up with a list of what's necessary. Maybe the first meeting, not draw up a
Mhm.
budget until until after that first meeting,
Mhm.
Okay.
and then see what people's needs are and requests, and then put it all together.
Great.
Uh,
All right. So, I mean, at this point, I'm picturing the big projects being finishing up those last couple raised beds plus the compost operations. So I'll work on getting a firm budget for that to be able to say, like, I think this is how much that'll need. And then, and we kind of already have a loose one, or we already have like some numbers from last time that we can use for.
Well,
Uh,
I
uh,
contact in the spring, I mean, things
Yeah, that's
change.
true.
So in the spring, I will check with them again to see if
Cool.
their, Easthampton feed, if their prices have changed.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Mhm.
My God, my cats are insane. What?
Are they having a good time?
I don't know. I'm gonna go see because I don't actually want them to go to a time. Destroying my plants inside. Okay. Awesome. Since there's no changes to the budget, I don't know if we need to approve we've already approved the I guess
Yeah.
it's the last month's report, so we probably should just approve that nothing's changed.
Yeah.
So Ted, the name of that file that came through said September and
Oh.
not October. So we should just, because it didn't change, you didn't change the name of the title?
Oh.
I don't know. I sent one out that said October on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Let's see. It says
okay. Well, when I downloaded it, my version said September, but I can't look at the full title when it's in the email. It's only after I download it that I see the title.
Okay.
does it say after statement of finance? I can't see on my phone the full title either, but below when you're in the document, it says Easthampton
Statement
Community
of
Garden.
financial position activity as of October 31, 2024. I just updated the date. Just
Okay, let me look at the other one. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong file. So mine doesn't Mine doesn't have a title like that on it. I have two, oh, this one says of October. But
Okay.
the other one that I downloaded said, the title said September. So this
Let
one
me
with the,
just,
yeah, the one with the orange top then.
Mm-hmm.
or
That's the
no,
budget.
the
Oh,
plain
well,
one.
I'm just talking about the title of, so when I file this in my files, you know, whatever title you guys, or someone has put on it, that's what shows up in my folder. So it may say October in the actual document, but for one of these that's downloaded into my folder, it says September.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Well, mine says what Sarah sent out says 31st, 2024, both at the top of the PDF title and at the bottom of the actual document. So I don't know.
Okay.
That's not
Well, I just
unclear to
forwarded
me.
it to you again, just in case there was something weird that happened. I just
There's
forwarded it again, Karen.
Okay.
there's always seems to be an issue between me doing my work on Apple numbers,
Oh,
converting to PDF, and then people putting it on PCs. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I'm doing it on a phone, which also has its own problems. So
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're fine on mine, October 31st. So it's through the end of October current.
okay.
cool.
Now, the only thing that I would bring up that would be financially related that I don't know if we want to address it now, but before next year, since the applications will have to be put out, is I would recommend that the fees, I think we can stay with the fees that we had this year with the additional amount that had been recommended as a way, if anybody wants to pay an additional amount toward the garden, that we maintain that in our application.
Okay. So 25, right?
20,
Yeah.
25. And then if people want to make an additional contribution of $5, $10, $15, that's not mandatory. The 25 would be the mandatory fee.
Cool. I think so. I feel like it felt, I mean, it's not like we got like a million donations, but it felt like some people donated. It felt good. And yeah, it gave us more room in the budget for sure. Can I just maybe inappropriately out of order based on my agenda? I just saw Frank's email that he is caught in work and not sure if he's going to be able to come to the meeting, but he just asked if we have another meeting next month. And I'm just trying to remember, this is the last one and then we meet in the spring, right? Or do we usually have a December meeting?
No,
No. Okay.
we do not have a December meeting.
Okay. Cool. So I will just respond to him here and then we can actually talk about the next meeting date at the end of the meeting. Okay. Okay, great. All right, awesome. So let's just go ahead and just for formality's sake, I'm gonna move to approve both the statement. Let's see. Oh my gosh, sorry. Statement of financial position. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, statement of financial position for up until October 31st, 2024. Does anyone second the motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Great. It's approved. Locked in there. Awesome. Mark, you came back. Great. Do you want to do operations shed updates?
I was gonna say I keep getting blocked out from Google Meet. This happens to me regularly. So if I leave, I'm not like I'm tired and going to bed. I just need to reboot. But yeah, I can give
Or
the,
you're angry.
I'm not happy, but it is what it is. Yeah, so the garden shed inventory, we did a garden shed inventory. Jane and I did on cleanup day on Saturday, and it was great. And we, what I discovered was, and I'll just be brief. I sent out copies to some of you on the exec committee, if you will, and our inventory is pretty much the same as last year with a few changes. Some items are still, I think gardeners may still have borrowed things that they didn't return, like the big 5-gallon buckets or sometimes trowels, because we had less of them in this inventory than we did a year ago. So that's what it says to me. People probably borrowed them and just didn't get a chance to return them. So maybe at some point a notice could go out to gardeners to say, if you have any things from the shed that you borrowed, please return them. I would say none of the really important items, the wheelbarrows, et cetera, all the tools seem to be pretty much what they have been in the past. And I think, what I sent to you says what we have. If you think there are other things that we need, now would be a good time to let me know so we can plan to make purchases. One thing that I did notice when Jane she was very good. She does, of course, is a professional landscaper, but she was like coiling the hoses, and some of those old hoses are really difficult to manage. And I kept thinking, it would be really great if we could think about for the next year's budget, maybe purchasing a few of the more flexi hoses, the Flexillas or that kind, just to replace some of these old kind of beat up, very stiff hoses that we have and that are, so that's a recommendation. Somebody else said we needed duct tape. Seems like a small item. And was there anything else that seemed important? Not really.
It looks like Margie's got a question.
Margie,
Well,
what?
and also, I think we should get some nozzles.
Oh,
I
no.
have
Some more.
Yeah, because some of those nozzles are just ridiculous. Like the one that was by my garden, you get soaked every time you turn it on. There's no turning off the water, and it leaks terribly.
So it's broken. It's broken,
What?
Margie. It's broken. The one that you.
I don't know what it is, but it's wet. It's like it leaks.
It's one of it's one of the plastic ones. Am I
blue
right?
plastic one that it's got a round thing, and you can change it to different settings.
There's adjustments, yeah.
And I tried some from other hoses too, and those that don't have the round one, they're just like long things. Those are really difficult, I find, to work with because it takes forever to adjust the flow. You have to turn it. And meanwhile, I, for one, am getting soaking wet.
Yeah.
I also have a question mark. Oh, I lost the email, but you put, is there a reason why you put 3 carriers or wheelbarrows instead of 4?
I thought we put down 4, did we not? Okay, hold on, I'm looking at my list right now.
Oh, the email I have said.
Oh, it does, yeah. Maybe Jane had another one out by her place and we didn't count it. Yeah, I think one was being used when we did it. So yeah, we can update that to 4 if that's what we have. I know there's the orange one, there's the one that Ted donated, and there's the other green one that's kind of the 4th one I'm not familiar with. I'm not visualizing it.
And
but
the black one is the black that I've been using to carry leaves. It's got a very deep.
Okay,
front.
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. All right, so we're good with those, I guess. But I'll double check when I swing by there.
All right, that's good.
Yeah,
I thought maybe
the nozzle
one was...
thing is an ongoing. No, I think they're all present and accounted for. the nozzle issue is a challenge because those plastic ones that you can buy at the store, they seem to have a life of a year or two, and then they start leaking. That's been my experience, which is why we bought some of the brass ones before, but people complain that the brass ones are too strong the way they shoot the water out. So there's not a perfect thing. Christina says, well, you know, this is what she does. If they break, she contacts the manufacturer and gets them to replace it. I don't know what her secret is, but God bless her. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it might be kind of time consuming to make that happen, but that's the situation we have. So we can buy some
It's
more.
not really. I do that
What?
with a few things when stuff breaks. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very easy. You just go to their website and then write a complaint. I wouldn't mind doing that if something like that wasn't necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll give you that
Yeah, as
assignment.
long as
That'll
we
be
know the
wonderful.
manufacturer.
Yeah, so we'll just need to keep the packaging somewhere. Maybe in that there's that like thing in the shed, the locker. We could put the packaging in there
receipts.
for stuff.
It's a good idea. Good idea. Fabulous. Okay, that solves that problem.
Right. I hate calling
we
people, so
we did give away a certain amount of stuff because I just said the shed is just too damn crowded, and we did hold on to some items that I probably would have wanted. I'm always trying to streamline and make the shed easier to get into and not have a bunch of junk. And you know, Jane did a real good job of helping organize it. There's still a lot of the scythes left. Scythe, as in which
yeah.
I don't know anybody who uses one, but I just mentioned that in case, you know, you think we should keep them, or if there's somebody in the world that we should pass them on to, like a farm museum or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to streamline things and not keep a lot of junk.
What is
A
Scythe.
scythe.
What?
Scythes, you know, the big grass cutters.
size?
SCYTHE.
Yeah, some people use them. I never do,
Yeah,
but I've seen
I've
them
never
in
seen
use.
anybody use one. It must have you really?
I've not seen them so much at the garden, but I know there's like it might be worth keeping. I know a landscaper who's like involved in sort of more sustainable practices, and scythes are kinder to plants for when you're clearing paths. So it might be worth keeping around until, you know, maybe for like a little bit.
We have about six of them, so I think that's more than enough. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
really?
a couple
Whoa.
different sizes.
Wonder why.
Well, somebody donated them probably back in the day, and we just kept them. There's a lot of
Yeah.
old tools there. There were a lot of handles for shovels and rakes that had no end to it, and I just said we can't keep these here. It's just bull. It's like it's the old-fashioned thing. We might need it someday, so let's keep it. You know, but meanwhile it just sits there and takes space. So I said, let's just put them out, and people can take them if they want to take them home. I'd be happy. I think we should give away some of this stuff if we're not using it. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah, I think that's maybe the long and the short of what I had to say.
All right. Well, that's makes a lot of
Thank you.
sense. And we'll just maybe more actively look into, I guess maybe just posting those on Marketplace. I feel like that's the best way to get rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody might use them.
The one thing I got an email about, Jane said she tried to get the mower to start and could not get it to run. I will let Frank know. But it might also just be one of those things where like I feel like that mower, I can't ever figure out how to use it, and then I find out it's just like, oh, you need to do this one little thing. So it's either maybe there's something broken or you know, it got flooded when, you know, she pumped oil into it or something. So I'll let Frank know about that. So TBD if the mower is having a hard time or not. Great. Anything else for operations? Great. All right, Margie, what do we have for outreach?
Well, our 2 open plots are no longer open. We have 2 new gardeners. Rebecca is in is it C11 or D11? I don't remember. You remember, Sarah?
It is C11.
C11. And I think she's already started. It looks like they cut down
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. And Rhea, or Daria, I think is in D9. There was a
Yes, and we're
woman.
gonna look at it tomorrow. We did not. I had to
Oh, she
cancel
didn't
for
look at
today,
it
but
yet? 'Cause
not yet. We were gonna do it today, but I think it's gonna be great.
her friend Terry came by. I was there Tuesday.
Oh, great.
And Deb was there, and Terry came by to look for number 9. And we said, okay, A9, B9, C9, or D9. She said, no, just 9.
Oh no.
And said, yeah, I think Rhea, English is not her first language, so maybe there was some, difficulty in the translation. But we did take, thanks to Deb for her help, we did take Terry down to D9 to show her. And
Good.
it is considerably overgrown plot. And Terry was very befuddled and said, oh my, couldn't she take that one instead? Or that one doesn't look like it's been used. And we just said, you know what? We all started that way.
Right. You got to put in the work.
And it always looks that bad right now. It's like in the spring, you can get so much done and it's easier. There's just less. I wish I could show it to them in the spring after some snowfall.
But Rhea is, as far as I could tell from the email we exchanged, she's eager to start now. So we have 1 person on the waiting list, and as of now, no open plots. But as we all know,
I have another person to add to the waiting list.
Okay,
Sorry.
you want to email me their name?
I will. Their name is Z, and then I will send you their email.
Yeah,
also.
because my sound is really bad, and I'm keep getting this message that my internet is unstable, and everybody's photos come and go. They're on, they're off, and it says that it's because of my internet connection. So,
Yeah.
And I had a problem the other day with a tech person who couldn't do an update for my work laptop because of my internet connection. So I got to call Verizon and find out what's going on. So it would be great if you email it.
Pardon me,
Bless
sorry.
you.
But yes, I will. I'm sorry about your internet. That's very I was about to blame Spectrum, but it's Verizon this time. So.
No, I have Verizon. It's a crazy year though. The season is so long.
I know.
Yay.
It is. It's crazy.
That's all I got.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, your kitty is
my-
touching you.
I know she's she's really needing to say something about outreach. Eric, do you have anything that you want to add?
Nope, nothing for outreach. Been posting Facebook events for all the stuff that's been happening. Don't know if that counts for anything. We had another platform that we were going to start posting to. Does anybody remember what it was? TikTok
I got the Instagram and I got logged
Instagram.
in.
Okay.
And I made a post that we're back, and then promptly forgot to use it to post about the workday or anything of that ilk. So I just gotta get it in
tied to the Facebook login?
It's not the Facebook. It is connected to. Let's see. Is there an easy way for me to look at this?
Oh, we can take it offline. send me an email with the login stuff. Just so we can get into more media. The Facebook stuff goes out.
Yes.
It's nice that we have like events and it goes onto a calendar and stuff like that. But I feel like it's not reaching as many people because Facebook is not as popular as it used to be.
Well, I'm trying to see if it. Well, I'll do some look. I'll look to see if it's connected to that Facebook account or not.
Okay.
But yes, okay, I'm gonna write a note about that. Because that would make that easier. I forgot that they're connected, same company. Awesome. Okay, great. I will tell you, Eric, we did not work on the paths a ton at the work day. But I think some people did some path work.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't assessed it. I don't know what the state of it is. I would like to be able to at least do the main one that's right next to the picnic tables, if that hasn't been done, and then going straight through to the one that's next to yours. I plan to do that before the end of the year. We've got some good mornings, but I'm never around. So
Well,
when I'm
don't
back,
worry. The ones
get it
next to
done.
mine, I mulch like every couple months to keep the thistle down. So I can. It's on my brain.
Okay.
So don't stress on it too much.
Oh yeah, did you put up
All right.
by the wood chip on the
Yeah, so
workbench?
that was one of the bigger accomplishments next to
That
the
was
shed
amazing.
inventory is all of us shoveled and it was so fun. And
That's
we Nora had that fence that she just taken down. And so we used that and now it's parking protected mulch zone.
awesome.
You got 2 new spaces there, at least
It's
2.
amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm going to call the mulch companies that I think we're going to be all set with mulch for at least 5 years because right after we talked about that, they dumped another ton. And it's unfortunate because a lot of just bittersweet and leaves, like some garbage was in there. I'm like, this isn't really that helpful, you guys. Like, so, yeah, I'm gonna call them soon, hopefully. I wrote in all caps at the top of my list here.
You have the numbers?
Yes, yeah, just the ones you emailed me the other day.
I'm make a suggestion.
Yes.
I would suggest not telling them to stop completely, but ask them to only bring it when we request it.
Oh yeah.
Because we
Good idea. Good
could
thought.
run out. And we could also request that they don't bring batches with bittersweet. I would
Yeah.
say jumping worms too, but you can't really control that.
I will. Next thing, the donation garden report. I think we just need to revisit this again next year. I feel like the grow bag was a good experiment. It didn't go super well.
No.
And I think that, sort of the passive, people donating the excess from their plot, even though it's not like a bounty that we get, it still is something, and maybe just like focusing on that. I think a lot of what we need to kind of figure out is the garden each year looks a little different based on who the membership is
And the weather.
Absolutely. And so, if we have somebody at the garden who's really passionate about the donations, like Steven is, like, he leads that really well. But, if no one else shows up, it's not really fair to the gardeners to, like, string us out in a way that doesn't make sense if no one's into leading that project. So I think as long as Steven's still wanting to lead it, we should still advertise and push like people donating from their plot. And might just maybe set the donation like garden portion of it aside for a little while until maybe one of these new gardeners is really passionate about that and they can lead the project again in a different way. Um,
Yeah,
any other,
we could go back to
yeah,
having a dedicated plot, you know, maybe at the far end or something, but again, it would take somebody to take it on, and without
yeah.
that, it's not gonna work, because, you know, I did it and others have done it, and it just, you know, you couldn't get enough volunteers, so you need to have
And I'll
some
try to,
commitment.
maybe when we kind of work on governance or like our guidelines things, it can be part of like the yearly first meeting is bringing up projects that hey, we used to do this, we don't do it because we didn't have interest, but if any new gardener wants to take this up again, and I can bring it up every year, or the future chair can bring it up every year to be like, anyone wanting to lead this project, like, please, let's get it going again, or whatever.
Right.
So that's the donation report. Karen, pollinator report.
Yes, so we need still wheelbarrow loads of mulch. So I'm planning on setting up a time on Sunday from, say, 12 to 1. If anybody wants to join me, they can. If you put this in the summary that goes out, the letter that goes out to people, if somebody would like to help and that's not a good time for them, then contact me and we will set up a time to get, two of us could get a lot done in a short time.
What day were you saying was preferable?
Well, I'm gonna say Sunday at
Sunday.
12. Yeah, this Sunday, as the weather's good, everything's still thawed out, from 12 to 1.
Okay.
But, if somebody wants to do it and that's not a good time for them, then just contact me and we'll set up a time that is good for both of us.
Sarah, are you going to do the notes or shall I?
Sorry,
why
Brett.
don't I do them, because so you don't have to stress about your internet too much. I'll send them out in the morning.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah. Great. So mulch help Sunday, awesome. Or reach out directly. Okay. Awesome. Great. Anything else, Karen?
No, we're just planning for next year. Next year, everything will have settled and we'll get our dirt in the spring and hopefully we'll get compost. And then I have a bunch of plants I can thin out and stick in there.
Yay. Oh my God, so exciting. And it looks so good. I don't know. I love whatever those tall plants are that I can't remember the name of. So it's so great to see them this year.
The spotted bee balm.
Yeah, or the spotted bee balm, and then the other one. It was like very tall, kind of had like a purple flower or something.
Oh yes, that's New York ironweed.
It was just
that
so
will get
nice.
to be 5 to 6 feet tall. It will get.
I'm gonna write that down though, so don't forget again. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. Great. Volunteer hour report. Amazing year for the garden. I feel like we had so many people volunteering and so many people putting in a lot of time. Anyone who I still hadn't seen or heard from, I think showed up the work day or reached out to me about some hours they'd done in private. So I think like almost everyone did hours. I think I do need to stress to people next year that they don't have to report only to Deb. That because I think some people are like, oh my God, none of my hours count because I didn't put them on the Google Doc. And just explain to people that that's like preferred, but I take notice of who's at the work days. We have everyone who comes to meetings like recorded in the minutes. And not everyone is comfortable using Google Drive. So, you know, they can just email or communicate in person that they've done hours, and just make sure people know we're meeting them where they're at. Just make sure you let someone know you volunteered in some capacity.
Well, you know, Deb does have something written with that page that she sent out, that if people don't want to enter it, they can contact her.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just get nervous about it and don't always read all the, you know, I think the nervousness, I don't want to say it's good. I think people want to, you know, it's good people feel pressure to put in the hours, but yeah, I think they are misplacing that nervousness to be like, I failed to put it in the doc. It's like, no, there's lots of ways, lots of ways to record it. Sorry, Nancy Pelosi just texted me. I thought these would stop, and they haven't.
Is she on the committee now?
I'm really
Say
a
hi
little
for me.
frustrated.
She missed the public comment section.
Say
Oh
hi
my God.
to
She's like, oh, community gardens are so important. Okay, cool.
You're funny.
All right, so that's volunteer hours. Compost operations, big update is just I'm gonna figure out the budget for that for next year, and hopefully that'll be our one of the projects I lead next year and get organized, and that maybe we put some room in our budget for. It was brought up, Jane did propose if we want to make it part of the budget to rent like a little like scooper, you know, tractor thing to deal with the old pile, and you know, that could be part of a work day, is like moving the old compost piles like to the side, letting people get what dirt is in there out. Might be kind of a big project, but maybe worth talking about next year. Because if it's something she's passionate about, maybe she'll, like, you know, be one of the people who helps me organize that. So that's in your ear. And any other questions about that? Yes. Okay, great. Jean. Great. So only thing left is I'm just going to talk about, I met with the Conservation Commission that we are a part of. It's the portion of the city of Easthampton that we are like underneath, I guess. Because they'd reached out to Ted and I last month and with like, hey, like, what's going on? We haven't talked to you guys in forever. And it was such a cool meeting. Everyone should have a huge ego, because basically what they were like is, oh, we just wanted to make sure the garden was running. We can't believe it's been self-sustaining and running so well on its own for years. Because it was great. Like, basically they were just like, holy shit, unpaid labor, like it's working. But they just, they kind of expected to have to monitor have somebody on their staff monitor us more, because it is a lot to ask volunteers to do all this. But they were just so impressed at how well volunteers are doing this whole thing. Ava is the person who is like kind of our contact for like if we ever need things from the city, and vice versa if they have any needs from us.
What is her last name? What's her last name?
That is a great question.
Let
me just look at my email really quick. Gerstle. Gerstle.
Gerstle. Ava. Okay.
And it's Ava with an E. It's EVA.
EVA. Okay.
And one thing that I need to do, I realize I haven't done, is just send her pictures of our like events and things. Then she'll just include that in a presentation to like update, like this is how the garden's doing, you know, as part of her updating like them. She a huge thing that we might want to talk about, and Ted, you might want to investigate. I'm going to investigate it as well. Is there is something called the CPA, which is a fund that's through the city that gets reviewed quarterly that we could be applying to get funds through them for. And a lot of people apply for like funds for like big money projects, like thousands of dollars. I think anything we want to apply for would be a lot smaller than that. But she was like, if especially if it is just like in the hundreds range, like we could be applying to that and you know, getting going on lots of projects. Like maybe we could get a check and go buy a bunch of plants for the pollinator garden, or you know, do something crazy like get the solar panels for the shed to charge things, or you know, like different things like that.
Rent a little
Ava,
tractor.
yeah, Ava said like, you know, we can send our ideas to her. I think she would help us make sure we like how to format it and get it sent, but you know, to use them for like, there are some like funds that we haven't been using.
So maybe that little backhoe to move the pile,
Yeah, that's true.
the
That's
money for
true.
that could come from that. Yeah.
And so maybe we can think about that during the winter, any like weird dreams that we've written off. That can be part of our budgeting discussion, is if it's not urgent and it can wait for a slow application process through the city funds, maybe we can put some effort into that next year. And let's see. Oh, and then I think Ava, the conservation group, I'm just going to start including them on the meeting notes that we have at the end of the meetings, and they already, you know, have public access to the agenda and the minutes, but just wanting to, you know, just be on our email list basically.
Were you able to get them the financial report? To get that
Yes.
into the system? Okay.
Yes, and I haven't put all of them in because it's so annoying to deal with. I keep putting it off too. So sorry. But I will say Ava did point out that some of our I can't remember if it's in the guidelines, but there's some outdated information like that we use like some kind of forums website to communicate, and we like don't do that anymore. And so I'm gonna go back through and make sure like I edit that stuff out as well. And we are working on maybe a more formal just like meeting with them, or like maybe they'll come to one of our committee meetings once a year and we could, you know, answer questions about what we're doing. And then the last thing is the Echodale project next door. That they are going to continue to be killing or managing the invasive species over there. But like we might need to open up conversations again about if like what they're going to do with that area and how that would like affect us being the neighbor like to that project. You know, that survey, what was it, last year, 2 years ago that they did? None of that's like, all of that was idea based. None of that's like an agenda for the city, but they are working with that land. Oh, what was that, Marie?
Was that with that student who was doing that whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah. So the students project isn't their working plan, but that is like they are trying to come up with a plan for that area. And they want us to be included in, you know, in that as it actually starts happening. Awesome. Any other questions about that stuff?
As long as they don't use glyphosate.
As long as you don't use what?
glyphosate, I think it's called, that horrible chemical that Northampton was going to use for the pokeweed.
Oh, really?
Is that the same
Yeah.
as Roundup?
Yes, that's the
Oh.
ingredient in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Bad stuff.
I'll make sure just to triple check. I can't imagine they are, but it's good to check.
It's used for invasive species a lot, and it's interesting because one of the um, public television stations, sometimes they have an ad for Roundup, and then sometimes they have an ad saying if someone you know used Roundup and developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call this lawyer. So they have these conflicting messages. I wrote them a letter about it, and I said, so are you all about the money? You just advertise anything as long as you get the money? Of course, they didn't respond. But that glyphosate it's deadly. It's one of the reasons I joined Easthampton, because my plot was right next to the road, which was next to the land they were going to use it on. And I didn't want that stuff trickling into my garden.
Right.
They haven't used it yet, as far as I know, because there was a big uproar. But
Okay.
then they made it clear it's not an organic garden. So it's kind
Well,
of.
I'll make sure because that is really important. I didn't think about that at all. Okay. Great. Any other questions about that stuff? Great. So on to the officer elections. We'll start with Ted. Are you planning to leave or
No, he can't
alter your
leave.
position at all?
He signed
And
the-
I'm
yeah,
not
and you're not
planning on
allowed
leaving,
to.
but if anybody else would like to do the job, that's,
You signed a multi-year contract.
it's,
Yeah, there was a blood oath. I saw it.
oh, that's right.
I don't think so many
100
people
million a year.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. I would be happy to continue if you all want me to continue.
Yes.
Yes, I want you to
Yes.
continue. What
Absolutely.
about
And
you,
then
Sarah? Are you
I'm not
getting
planning on
ready to go?
leaving.
Yeah.
No, my
Yay.
ego is huge. I need this. Or at least a little longer.
You are so funny.
But again, yeah, like I'm excited to start talking about governance next year. And I'm learning, I'm on the governance committee for the library board. So I'm going to try to learn from them and bring some suggestions next year about how best practices with rotating positions around and making sure people know, like, you know, their gardeners should feel like they should be encouraged to be the new chair.
Okay, well,
So I'm happy to investigate that.
so one of the things that people should think about is to attend the meetings. If they're interested, attend the meetings. You know, if you
Yeah.
never attend a meeting, don't say you want to be chair.
I agree with that, because
Well,
if you're attending meetings, you're getting a sense of what we're doing, what we're all about. If you're just coming in as a gardener and you don't know what's been going on, I think it could be draining for the committee. And my feeling is, we're not a political organization. As long as we have people willing to do the job, we can put it out there. If anybody else is interested, please attend meetings. But if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it.
Right.
I feel pretty strongly about that. I do agree that people should know they have the opportunity, but I strongly agree with Karen that if they're interested, they need to be attending meetings.
Yep. Agreed.
and it might be about like less like altering how we do things, but really like noting how we do things. Like that's an amazing point to have in our like, you know, community garden drive is like committee members, and then these positions, these like more elected or more official positions, are based around who's attending meetings. Like that is like something to write down so that if a gardener has a question about that, they can look and see like, if they're curious about getting involved or nervous, they can just start coming to meetings more often. Yeah.
And we didn't elect anybody. We didn't elect you, Sarah, or you, Ted. You volunteered, and that
Yeah.
was awesome because we need people to step up to do these things.
But
And
it can feel like,
I don't think I think we've had some difficulty in the past recruiting people for the treasurer position.
yeah.
And it's not an easy position. And Ted, if you're willing to keep going, I, for one, am grateful and I appreciate that a lot because it is not something I would want to get involved with. So, this is a volunteer group. It's not like a city council or something like that. I want to keep it separate from politics. It's amazing that we all agree on so much and we're so like-minded and it operates so well the way it is. And if it wasn't going well and we were stumbling here and there, I could see bringing in that element, but it's working so well.
Good point.
Yeah, it is a great point. I do think there's something to, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yes, put it out. We could put it out there so to make sure we are being inclusive. I agree with that. But not electing and terms and things like that. No, I don't want to be associated with that type of operation. If it was possible to have volunteers for government who were good people, like I believe we all are, wouldn't that be awesome, But most people I know don't want to do stuff like that. It's like we have a capitalist system, and that's not, to me, the best system. It's not a system designed for everyone.
Correct.
Well, and I think in having these discussions, like not to get, too heady about it, but I think like this is a small scale like experiment in like community in a it's run by committee and we do run it. Like I was able to tell Ava that like it's successfully run through passionate volunteers, and it's cool to keep evolving and experimenting with like what that looks like. And it is what makes us like anti-capitalist revolutionary community garden very awesome. So
Good
yeah.
description. Yeah.
And when all else fails, we will have the garden. Like it's like
That's
really.
But keep it a secret.
Yes, and it's
a very long waiting list.
What was that?
I bet if all else fails, we'll have the garden and a very long waiting list.
Yeah.
Like during COVID. During COVID, we had a waiting list with 25 to 30 people. Because that was one way people could get out.
That's right. And have the social connection, not feel as endangered. Yep. Special time.
But there is something we need to talk about is that Eric is still, do you have updates about your position? And if maybe Eric's gone, I can't tell.
No, I'm still here.
No, I see a big E there.
Yes, do we just get glowing?
The big E.
I'm probably not going to be around for all of next year. But I can still start the year so that I can transition the position to somebody else, unless somebody wants to step up and take this job right now. I wouldn't want to ask anybody to do it, but it is going to take a little bit of time to show people the links and the forms and stuff like that. So,
well, if Eric could continue into next year and put out the word that we need somebody, it's always good to have somebody transition into the
Right.
job and get an idea of, Eric would be a great mentor to somebody to take over.
Yes, an apprentice.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I mentioned at the work day, and I felt like looking at people, it's really like, even if you are interested, it can feel hard to volunteer. Like, I don't know, can make you feel a little shy or something. So I was even thinking of reaching out to people who've shown up a lot, just to say like, hey, like,
Want to do
you
this?
know, think about this, like, sort of thing.
Yeah, we should put it out there and say, if anyone's interested, you can start by just coming to meetings.
Right. Right.
I have a little warning. I just thought of it because it's bothering me. I was out there in tall grass the other day, and I came home with a tick bite, and I
Oh
thought
my
it was
gosh.
done for me. So watch
Mm.
out, they're still there.
Did you get the tick? Did you
That's
pick it
crazy.
out?
What?
Did you pick out the tick? Were you able to get it off you?
No, I left it in and let it gorge itself. Of course I could get it out.
Who knows? You could be doing some
You're
crazy
you're
experiments.
so generous. She's a donation garden. Donate to.
Well, you're more likely to get a disease from a tick if it's in more than 18 hours.
Sometimes you don't even know you got one. I had a tick bite on my head one year, and I got Lyme, but I didn't know I even had a bite.
Well, it was probably had been there for a while.
Could have been. Who knows? I just know I got some medication in time that it wasn't disastrous.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is good.
These things can last on me up to 9 months sometimes.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
years even. There's some people who don't have it right away, and then later on they
Yeah.
have an outbreak of symptoms.
So watch out, they're still there.
That's
You might
insane.
want to put that in the notes, Sarah.
Oh yeah, because I mean, it is like
Watch out for ticks. They're
these
still
harsh
there.
winters aren't killing them either.
Yeah. Oh, I hate them.
So can I ask then, any other comments on that? So we're confirmed that we're all going to stay in these positions going into the spring, with Eric looking to transition out. And any other questions or like comments before I move on to talking about when our next meeting is going to be?
I just had a question about these CPA grants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you just look it up?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just, what I was wondering is if it would be helpful to go down and meet with whoever runs that. I don't know if it's Eva or somebody else to get the guidelines. Now, I'm not a grant writer, but I'm sure we have some expertise somewhere. Right, Mark?
Possibly.
Oh my gosh.
To be able to see what we might be able to do.
Yeah.
And, to some point between now and early next year or before on our first spring meeting, to be able to have an idea of what we might be able to apply for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do seem to be
And
funding
I
a
don't
variety
know
of-
what their application deadlines are.
Well, the
you
one thing, yeah, I don't know their deadlines. I know Ava said it was quarterly, at least, that they meet to decide. So at least there's 4 times a year we could get opportunities for funding. But I will reach out to her and CC you so that we can get more clear who we should maybe meet to or talk to. And I just went to the city website, and the CPA, what it stands for is the Community Preservation Act.
know,
Oh,
And so it has the committee that meets, it has their rules and regulations, and then, oh, it has their schedule for this year. So they'll post, I guess, next year's schedule on this page.
Okay.
And then it has their application information for this year as well. And it looks like what they have posted publicly is the projects they've been funding already, and they're pretty major projects, like the skate park, the town hall renovations. So I think anything we do would,
We're nickel and dime.
I'm sure, I feel like we're gonna get a yes. Like, I think we're gonna get a yes.
I think we need the solar thing with a jacuzzi.
Yeah.
The,
Well,
workers.
my big idea, I
Yeah.
was like, wouldn't a shareable greenhouse be crazy? Like, that could be
Oh,
like
yeah. A greenhouse with a jacuzzi. Yeah, I like it.
with a jacuzzi.
We need a dining patio and
A dining patio.
Oh my God. All right. Well, start dreaming big, guys. Yeah, I think you're already there.
Well, one of my previous
Yeah.
community gardens
50.
did get funding for a greenhouse, and
They did.
They did, and they started starting their own seedlings in there.
Do you know,
Mm.
do you have any way of finding out like the information for like how they decide what type of greenhouse to build, or like or who they consulted with or anything like that?
I could ask somebody.
That would be
how-
awesome.
Yeah, it's not a huge one. And they assembled it themselves.
Okay.
So there was some, technically handy folks who knew how to put it together.
Well, Margie's son. I'm volunteering.
Did they need power? Did they need power?
That's right when you said that.
What?
I don't know that he'd do it, but he might.
Okay. Yeah, Karen, did that one use power? Or was it just
It was just the greenhouse.
okay, cool.
Greenhouse.
Well, maybe I'll ask some people too, and that can be, we have the winter to imagine and maybe come up with a lot of ideas and projects.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, and I can, I'll try to remember to, let's see.
Where did you find the CPA information?
Let me see here.
Is it under the city?
Yes, let's see. I just Googled CPA Easthampton, had to scroll down a little bit, but if you go to, on the Easthampton government's website, it looks like if you go to home, government, boards and committees,
Okay,
boards and committees A through E.
I'll find it.
Okay. I'll try to remember to send it a link to it also. Awesome. So when do we usually meet? I don't know. I guess I could look at our
March
the
maybe, huh? What do you
documentation
think?
here. We usually meet in March. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So March, it's the 6th. The
So
first Thursday of the month is the 6th.
Did Frank have something he wanted specifically to talk about?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if he emailed back after he said this is the last one.
I just read his email and he asked, he said, don't we have one more meeting? And
I'm
wrote him
sorry. I
back.
responded to him.
told him.
Yeah, I didn't push reply all, so.
I responded and I said, nope.
I love that all of us
And
privately responded no.
No, you blew it.
I don't mind if people want to meet in December, I won't object, but I probably won't be able to attend because
I
December.
don't think there's any need. I don't think there's any
Crazy.
need, is there? There's no need for
What's
another
that?
meeting. There's no
What's that,
need
Mark?
for another meeting. There's
I
no
don't think
need
so.
for another meeting.
Yeah, I think I think taking a break is good. If it comes
Yeah.
up while we're discussing things over email, like sharing ideas or whatever, I would be fine having like we talked about getting together for like with the brass cat again. We could do that in
Yeah,
February
let's have a party.
or something like that.
Mm.
And I'll keep that
Yeah,
in my mind.
The holidays, after the
Holiday
holidays.
party.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so sweet. Like, and I do like a sign making party. If we really start to feel like, if things start to feel really hard this winter because I don't know, the election or something, any of it, we could we get together.
Nobody wants to talk about that, and that's fine with me. It's like I don't want to think about it. I'm not going to put the news on ever again. I can't.
Never again. Forget it.
I love that.
Yeah, no.
We're done.
Yeah, I'm resigning from this system. I'm done.
Hell yes, that's right. So yeah, well, our next meeting to talk about the revolution is going to be March 6th at 7 p.m. It's a Thursday.
It's the 60th.
And we will televise.
Yeah, it's a publicly televised. At least on the city web, the city has a link. So, great. I feel like I had one last thing I was like wanting to bring up. I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down. So, yeah, I guess I am gonna move to end the meeting.
I second it.
I want to say something pretty positive.
Yes.
I've been doing a bunch of digging and cultivating, and I really haven't seen many jumping worms. I think I found one.
Yay.
And I think
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
Margie, we got some at my mom's garden down in Rhode Island.
You do have them?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. I mean, they're raised beds. We have no cross-contamination. And I was digging around and earthworm poked at it and it did the thing. I was like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
No idea.
Do you think birds, I feel like, somehow drop one? I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe.
Supposedly birds won't eat them.
Oh.
The birds don't like them.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why they're so prevalent, because animals don't eat them the way they eat the earthworms. And they even knock the earthworms out. They like take over. And in my backyard, there's a little piece of forest next to the bike path. It used to be overgrown with weeds and trees. And now there's big bare patches and there's a zillion jumping worms. So it's really scary to me. I'm saving, you can put down coffee grounds and black tea leaves that are used. And I'm saving these and I'm going to spread them around in my backyard. So
Coffee grounds and what else?
Used coffee grounds and used black tea leaves. And I think even like cinnamon and mint and many different herbs are repellent. So I have some tea that has cinnamon and ginger in it. I'm saving all that stuff and letting it dry out. I'm going to put it in the backyard and see what happens. I mean, what might happen is it'll kill a few and then they'll reproduce and there'll be more. They're taking over, guys. Be prepared.
That actually reminds me of what it was. I know what it was.
Oh, good.
Two things. Margie, can you email last year? I cannot remember who collected it, but the how to close down your garden kind of information.
I just recently sent that out from Alyssa.
Okay. Can you make sure it gets Norman asked about it, and I'm nervous maybe he didn't get it. If you don't want to resend it to everyone, at least could you forward it to him? Because I thought I maybe made it up, but okay, you did just send it.
Yeah, I sent it recently.
Okay.
I don't remember receiving it, so I'll have to.
I received some thank yous, so I know it went out. I'll send it out again.
Yeah, why not? Just a reminder.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Cool. Okay, great.
Oh, that's great.
Yay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, awesome. So Now
And
I guess
the second one, Sarah, you said there were two things.
oh yeah. Oh, I think I'm just gonna email about it. Mostly just a reminder that to be welcoming to visitors at the garden. I heard a couple people who said they had a friend who visited who like somebody got really like nervous. They were like that friend was like confronted about like what are you doing in the garden? I don't think it was any of us, so I'm just gonna send if you like Margie, you ran into somebody you and Deb did the other day and like figured out who it was, and most people I know are really welcoming when they meet someone new at the garden. But yeah, just putting that out there.
I do want to say there were two guys. There were two different instances. There were two guys standing around Christine's garden in high season, and I don't know. I wasn't unfriendly. I didn't say, "What are you doing there?" I said, "Hi, do you guys have a plot here?"
Yeah.
Just to kind of let them know I'm there and my eyes are open. And they said, "No, we don't. We're just looking." And they talked for a little while and then left. And then there were two women who, it was a totally different vibe. These two women were strolling around looking, and I greeted them. I said, "Hi, you guys have a plot here? Are you interested?" And they said, "No, we're just looking." But they were moving, and I didn't feel like they were. The two men looked like they were eyeing something.
Yeah.
And I just my presence known because Northampton they put up chains on the road that goes through the garden because of all the thievery that was happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these guys had a friend in the garden and they complained about me.
I have the same response as you do. I'm a little cautious when I see strangers there, and I will say hi to them like you did. And I might ask the same question, do you have a plot? But I keep an eye on them because there's been poaching in past years, and nobody needs to have that happen. Everybody's worked hard for their produce, and some are confused. They think, oh, community garden, that means I can come help myself. No, we need to clarify that.
Well, maybe part of my email will say, let's be welcoming to visitors, but also give like examples for like how to greet strangers.
Sure.
And just say like greet them by asking like, like, oh, do you have a plot here? Are you interested in a plot? Guiding people in that way, just so that they understand, not to.
Can I help you? Can I help you with something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Good.
If not, get out of here.
Yeah, no, scram.
Yeah, and I also want all our gardeners to feel safe too. If you have strangers coming, you want to know you're safe.
Worried about inviting like people to have to be in an uncomfortable situation. Like, I guess be welcoming, but you also don't have to talk to anyone you don't want to. Like, that's the thing. Like, no one's being asked to go talk to a stranger if they don't want to.
Well, and people should be cautious, women especially, being there in the evening.
Exactly.
I like to work late in the day, and if a stranger comes around, I don't mind if they're looking, but I don't want anybody harassing me. That's an isolated spot.
Right. Good
Should we post it have a sign? Members of Easthampton Community Garden only?
No.
I personally like it when people walk around because that's how people get interested in getting a plot.
Yeah,
is
people like to look at the vegetables and the flowers.
Well, I'm just thinking, it could be uncomfortable for some people to go up to two guys they don't know. And
well, maybe I would
confront them as to what they're doing there.
Well, I think that's what I meant with there's no
Margie,
responsibility.
Some people might not find it as easy.
Well, but there's no responsibility to go up to anyone. No one's expected to go up to anyone. The email is just if you're going to go, if you are a type of person who wants to go say something, try to say it in the kindest way. Don't be accusatory because, you know, we don't know. But if you see some people there who make you uncomfortable, no one should be forced to go ask what they're doing. Just, you know, maybe that we need to like reach out to one of us and say, saw some people like nervous about it, you know, maybe that, or maybe you could be encouraged to reach out to like, please check your plot. I saw some people walking around it. Make sure nothing's missing, or, you know, whatever. But being welcoming is not the same as you have to go talk to strangers.
Yeah. And I have a suggestion, something I learned in my social justice education training. When you have to approach someone with something difficult, instead of making a statement like saying, you know, well, well, maybe that doesn't work so well, but asking questions like, oh, are you interested in a plot, or can I help you? Instead of, you don't belong here, for example. This is for people only. This is for members only.
Yeah.
So it's called the spirit of inquiry, and it is less alienating than and less accusatory than making statements. I suppose it depends on the question and the statement also. But,
I'm gonna write that down. Spirit of inquiry is a good thing maybe to add to our guidelines, just to say like that's kind of a good rule of thumb, like for the energy of the garden, kind of. It's like,
you know where rule of thumb came from? You know where that expression came from?
no.
Well, in the past, a man was not allowed to beat his wife with anything bigger than his thumb.
Oh my God. That's crazy, Dark. I hate that. Never saying it again.
No, I haven't used it anymore. I got called on it in a training I was leading, and they called me on it, these students.
Oh my God.
I think at some point it would be good to think of some kind of additional signage with, you know, some kind of descriptor and, you know, contact information for people interested in plots. Maybe we can work on that over the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
even just
we can put, you know, I don't want to exclude people, but I don't want women who are alone there close to sunset being in danger. And in past gardens, we've had people steal things, to be honest. Steal food from other people's gardens.
Yep.
And maybe even just a sign that's a reminder that you're not supposed to be in the garden after dark. Because I do think that's in the guidelines, but like, you know, making sure.
I was just going to say that, maybe a sign like that. Although I was there the other day until after dark.
Well, we all bend the rules a little.
Well, you're a member, though. You get to break the rules.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's great. I actually feel like this is a lot of good fodder for discussion about a lot of things for next year.
Yes.
What did Eric? Sorry, Eric just typed in the comments.
Did you put that in the chat?
Oh, okay. Eric says that somebody misled you. He said, rule of thumb originated in the 1600s as the width of a thumb was used as a rough measurement in many trades.
Yes.
The story isn't about domestic abuse. Oh, that's a myth. The domestic abuse law is not true. So
but
you can tell.
Where do you check your sources? Because the sources that I was told about seemed pretty accurate too. We had a whole list of myth and reality and stereotypes, and I mean, who knows really? I mean, where did that measurement originate? You know, I don't know.
I'm sure someone's written a dissertation on this. I feel like it's out there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's just find the right librarian. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay. Late 70s?
In the 1970s. Oh, how interesting.
And where did that come from? Why did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm hungry. I have to eat.
Oh, no
So-
supper for you yet, huh? Okay.
Not yet. No, I just got home like after 7.
Oh my,
Well, let's get you dinner.
it's a long day.
It has been a very long day.
I hope we actually do meet up this winter. I would love to do that. I'm like ready to close up the meeting, but then I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like talk to you guys for a while. So I'll try to organize something. It'd be really nice to hang out.
Sounds good.
And
Sounds good.
yeah. And please visit me at the bakery. So important to me. Even if I'm frazzled, I swear it means everything when you come in.
Where is it?
Small oven. It's
Small oven.
across
Yeah.
the street from Shelburne Coffee.
Oh, it's right
Oh,
downtown.
yeah, they have the Oh, best.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay,
Good
well,
cinnamon
I'm
buns.
going to move to end the meeting.
I second.
Second, all in favor?
I.
Aye.
Bye.
Great. Well, I'll see you all soon.
Bye.
And